So who are you?
I'm Eran Hess. I'm the CEO of Flixwagon and co-founder. We do live video, high-quality video broadcasting from mobile phones.
Yeah, not from a big-ass HD camera like this one.
From this camera, and we're not competing with this camera.
Yep. So, and we're here in Tel Aviv, right?
Well, we're crossing Tel Aviv, and then we're going now to Givatayim. That's two different cities in the same place. That's a startup on its own.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get a little quieter in here.
Here we go.
So, and who's in your back seat?
I don't know, we just popped in.
Hi, I'm Roi Carthy. I cover the Israeli startup scene for TechCrunch.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, what's happening in Israel?
Well, a lot is happening in Israel, especially for startups. This is a wonderful place to be if you're looking to found a startup. There's incredible innovation around here. There's a good financial environment as well. A lot of people or a lot of startups can get funding, whether it's from angels, private investor groups, VCs, whether the second tier or first tier ones like Sequoia and Benchmark. So this is a wonderful and actually very skillful people as well.
Yeah. Why is it so entrepreneurial here? I've noticed that right away. That there's I've been around the world and visited with lots of tech companies and tech employees, but there seems to be a very Silicon Valley style entrepreneurialism here. Why do you think that happened? And some people are calling it a tech miracle or it's become a white hot area for tech.
Living on the edge.
It's living on the edge.
We're living on the edge here, and people are taking it another step forward. We're taking risks. We're going all the way. Small country, but a lot of potential, a lot of technology, a lot of infrastructure, and a lot of help, by the way, from either VCs like Roi just said, or even the government.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Well, I think it could be considered a miracle, but not here in Israel. I think we're the last ones to be surprised. I think this is very common for us. I don't think we know how to do anything else.
We don't know better.
Yeah, we don't know any better, and we only want more and more to be more active, to be more productive, to be more engaging, to be more innovative. So we're not very surprised by what's going on, and I think generally speaking, our startups are very scrappy, very dynamic, and buck for buck, I think we can generate a whole lot more distance for a startup than I'm sure most American startups, and fairly I would assume, or I would guess, other startups from other countries. So I don't think anybody here is surprised. I think this is very, very natural for us.
Yeah. What excites you about this area the most?
Excites me?
Yeah.
Well, I call this home, so that's exciting enough.
Yeah.
But what's really exciting is that there's innovation all around me.
Yeah.
Certainly, blogging for TechCrunch gets me into doors and or behind doors to see really cutting edge technologies built by really skillful, intelligent folks, and that's what gets me excited. I think I see something brilliant and exciting every single day, so can't complain.
In the last couple of weeks, what have you seen that's really cool, or what's caught your attention, or is there a difference from Silicon Valley's tech entrepreneurials and culture? Well, let's just back up. What's got you excited?
What's got me excited? Well, I mean, if you look at Flixwagon, I think they have a
what was that?
Yeah, to everyone's satisfaction.
You're gonna get your commission here.
No, it's in my car.
Yeah. I don't have a choice. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I remember seeing Flixwagon. Maybe I think 5 months ago, was it, for the first time under my TechCrunch hat, and I was very impressed. Wrote about them, and then we became friends, and I got to know the company and the people behind it and their vision. Fell in love with it. I've started consulting them a bit since then, trying to help them figure out where to move and how to move, and really get their technology out into a lot of people's hands, or into a lot of people's handsets, which is even better. So I think that's a fascinating company. I think if we go to a completely different direction, There's iMedics, for example. They have a community. Well, it's a vertical search engine for healthcare with a community around it. I think they're doing some great stuff there. Another company that I've worked with that has a really cool product that will be out in the open very, very soon is called Wicks. They do basically like a WYSIWYG environment for Flash objects, so you can create Flash websites and comments and funky kind of stuff in a very cool interface. I think people will really, really dig it with a G and a double G. So yeah, those are some of the fascinating companies I know.
Well, how important is Yossi Vardi to the Israeli tech community here?
Oh, immensely. For a couple of reasons, actually. I mean, first of all, he's important to startups, but he's also important to the industry. So I'll start with the industry. I think if you have to choose a single, let's say, godfather or a fairy godmother for the industry, it's him. He's a huge ambassador for the industry at large. On the startup level, I think he has somewhere around 50 or 60 startups under his portfolio. Usually he's known to give about $100,000 or somewhere in that area, and he lets something happen with it. And his portfolio is very varied. So he goes out on a limb, and actually, all in all, he's got some very interesting startups. Many of which, by the way, I've written about, or at least a few of them, I've written about on TechCrunch. The last one was called, or it's called Compile, which provides a feedback management platform. So, for example, if you have a website and somebody reports a bug or reports feedback, it goes into a CRM-like platform, and then you can manage the feedback and then get back to the person that said, hey, this isn't working on Firefox, and you can say, hey, we fixed it here, check it out, it does work now, and that increases satisfaction. So that's the last Vardi startup I wrote about, but there's so many more. I meet a Vardi startup at least once a week that I didn't know was his. So
wow.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what else is going on here in terms of socializing for geeks and
socializing for geeks. Well, I think in the last year and a half we've created ourselves a real startup scene in that sense. There is networking both on the business level and the social level, which helps startups promote themselves, get some hiring done, get their word out, strategic partnerships and agreements with one another to help each other with their individual offerings. So I think it's been a very interesting year and a half in that sense, and we're learning how to network a whole lot better than we knew how to network before.
Yeah.
That's being very effective. So there's iDrink, that was founded by a couple of local web celebrities, or at least known outside of Israel as well. Uriel Uchayun, who's the editor of TechCrunch France, and Orly Yakuel, who's a blogger at GoToWeb2O. There was another event yesterday, which you attended, a dinner organized by Blonde 2.0, who's actually called Ayelet Nof, who's a social media expert here in Israel, and a very good one at that. Yeah, it's a very, very busy week for us. Also because of Kindernet, because of the convention, comp.vention, it's a funky name. That's DeMarker's yearly high-tech convention. We have another convention, TWS, I think it'll be in June. It's organized by a local blog called The Coils. So yeah, it's busy here. It's tough work going from one event to another, so to speak.
Now there's a bunch of Hebrew blogs, right? Bloggers, tech bloggers who read in Hebrew, so I can't read them really. Yeah. But you can, so.
I can, but actually, to be honest, I don't. I'm very involved in the international scene. I know very little of what's going on in terms of our local market. But there are some active bloggers, absolutely. I mean, blogging hasn't gone unnoticed for the domestic scene, much like in any other country as well. And WordPress has been translated into Hebrew, and there are WordPress themes in Hebrew. Yeah. Actually, I think in terms of a blogging platform, I guess that's sort of interesting. I think WordPress is the most popular one. I don't think I've seen a Hebrew blog on Typepad, for example.
Yeah.
Or movable type.
Now, do you cover other kinds of companies? Like, there's a lot of tech up here. There's, IBM and Microsoft and Google and And we visited several solar companies. Some of the biggest solar companies in the world are here in Israel. And we visited the hospital up in Haifa, who is doing all sorts of bleeding edge research with General Electric and stuff like that. Do you cover that kind of stuff, or are you mostly a consumer internet kind of guy like Mike Arrington?
I would say, everything you're used to reading in TechCrunch is basically my space, except I'm 100% focused on Israeli startups, and that means not necessarily startups that sit here, but if, for example, the management team is Israeli, or the founder is Israeli, or the money is from an Israeli VC, but the company is already in the States for some reason, natural reasons, of course, then I cover it, but I don't touch anything else. So, yeah, if you're used to reading TechCrunch, that's exactly what I cover.
Yeah, and where do we find your blog?
It's at Roi. Well, it's a small blog. I grab everything I write off of TechCrunch and put it there. But if you're looking for me, I can be found at Roi Carthy, ROICARTHY.com.
Yeah, and on TechCrunch, are you found on a special part of TechCrunch, or just on the main TechCrunch.com?
Just like everybody, I write on TechCrunch.com, or at least the American version, the international version of TechCrunch, and I write somewhere between once every 10 days or 2 weeks. Sometimes I'm more active, sometimes a little less. I do this as a part-time gig, but if you're reading about an Israeli startup, it's probably me writing about it.
Very cool. Okay.